Chinese coffee giant Luckin has entered the American market, and xenophobia is running wild. This is your favorite half Chinese, and it is too wild to even believe. Before we continue, I would really appreciate it if you would please click that like button and the subscribe button, and also that little bell so you will not. Fox News says Chinese coffee giant makes bold move into Starbucks territory with New York City debut. As if New York belongs to Starbucks only, not to the New Yorkers or Americans. But yeah, when you look at it from a capitalist nation, they are completely correct. Well, actually, almost correct. The owners of Starbucks obviously also own the overly vast majority of New York. Anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the xenophobia and the fear mongering. We're going to start with Chuck Flint from Breitbart. Chuck Flint from Breitbart says, yes, all Luckin Coffee's American consumer data will go straight to Beijing. Oh! They'll have access to credit card numbers, banking information, email addresses, and possibly geolocation data. Oh! At China, at CCP. If this doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. I mean, this also should be a wake-up call for everybody in the rest of the world. When you are buying American brands, all your data will go straight to Washington. They'll have access to credit card numbers, banking information, email addresses, and possibly geolocation data. And I think, especially for Chinese people and Muslims, we should be more scared of that than the other way around. Prove me wrong. Anyway, let's continue to the other one. Eric Dernica says the CCP's newest front on U.S. soil, China's largest coffee chain. I don't believe that Luckin is a state-owned enterprise, so it's kind of weird. I also don't think that the CCP is something that is linked to the government in China, but I understand that he thinks it is. But yeah, mobile only ordering via their app, not problematic at all. And then between brackets, he has sarcasm. Well, why should the American people be scared? And the American people are not scared. And the reason why they are not scared is that they have already proven not to be scared by getting massively on the app Red Note, which is a Chinese domestic app. Anyway, this is just clearly fear mongering. On top of that, China in September 2020 unveiled the Global Data Security Initiative, GDSI, a proposed framework for dealing with security in data storage and digital commerce. The initiative was seen by many as a response to the Clean Network program put forward by the Trump administration in the United States, which aimed to portray Chinese technology as malign and untrustworthy and excluded from global internet infrastructure. What was in there? One of the things, those were quite big things, were that data harvests in another country from a company not from that country is not allowed to use that data in other nations. So it's not allowed to bring it across borders. So what that would mean that Luckin Coffee would not be allowed to bring the data of Americans outside of the United States and has to leave the data inside of the United States. It also would mean that Starbucks would not be allowed to move the data that they harvest in China, because there's a lot of Starbucks in China, and move it all the way to the United States to sell it over there, right? And believe it or not, it was an initiative. And the initiative was open to doctor on by the countries that it was proposed to, which was virtually all the countries in the world. So each and every country could doctor a little bit on it to the likening of their people, and the capitalist nations to the likening of the capitalist, the 1%. Anyway, I had to make that little joke. But surprise, surprise, the countries that are constantly fear mongering about data going to China, but not having a problem with Mark Zuckerberg selling it to Chinese companies, didn't want to sign it. They said, no, we are not going to do that. So, what is it exactly that you want? On top of that, all these same similar capitalist nations have been going all over the globe, telling other poorer nations that free market competition is great. It will give a lot of competition and therefore it will drive the prices down. What they didn't say is that they will bring their own big corporates over to those countries. Some of them have trillions and monopolize the entire market and shutting the market down, not be able for local people to enter that market unless they will become a customer of the American corporate. And this is what they didn't tell you. But that is actually how it happens. So what happens now? Why are they so afraid? Because this is their exact market principle, right? More competition equals lower prices. Why are they so afraid? Because if it was another very small company, maybe from the Netherlands, Lucky Fung's Coffee, right? My own coffee chain. I love coffee too. Might be an idea. I should open and buy me a coffee and have you all donate to me so I can open Fung's coffee chain. And then I also will enter the American market. I'm just kidding. But what are they so afraid of? They are afraid not of China getting data, because if they want, they can just buy it. If they want to have the data of coffee of American people, they can just buy it from Starbucks. It's not a problem. That's what American companies all do. They are selling data. That is why many of them are getting extremely rich. They don't get rich on the coffee. They get rich on the data and market manipulation and speculation. But that's for another video. Why would they not be afraid of me? Because I come from a very small country. How big could my chain be, right? Now, compare that to Luckin coming from one of, I think we can safely say now, the most modern country in the world right now, China, on the biggest consumer market from the world. That's also in China. They have managed to be a number one over there, right? And they are in the most competitive market there is. So now you get an equal to Starbucks. And that is exactly what they are afraid of. They wouldn't be afraid of if my coffee chain would come over there. They're afraid because of that coffee chain. Not because of China. Not because of it is Chinese people. It is not because the Communist Party of China that the data will go over. They don't give a crap about your data. It is about capitalists scared to death that their stocks will be less worth. Because, as I said, that is one of the things that they're getting rich of. The people who do not lift a finger in Starbucks are earning the most money. And the ones who are actually working their butt off in Starbucks, because they're quite hard working, for such a low wage that they cannot even buy their own coffee in the company that they are working for. They will get nothing. But the capitalists of Starbucks get everything. And that is what they are afraid of. They're afraid that they have to share a piece of the pie. Because they have been dominant all the time. Nobody could enter. But now you have an equally powerful company and they're starting to worry. That's all what it is about. That was the problem or is the problem with TikTok. That's the problem with everything that's coming from China. The thing that the Americans should start to think of is, if we are number one country, how come we are scared of this competition? What the American citizens should be thinking of is, if all our prices are rising out of the roof, we should welcome competition to lower the prices. Use your own tactics in your own country, I would say. But anyway, let me know what you all think of this in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. You're not uncivilized barbarians. I have nothing more to say. It is a xenophobia, fear-mongering yet again. And it will never, never, ever stop. I hope it is clear for the people. Please like the video, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. And as always, have a great day. Your favorite half Chinese.